Award Forum today. And we're going to start the meeting. Before we start the meeting, I'd like to request all my colleagues here, councillor and the officers, to introduce themselves, starting from my right hand side.
Thank you, Chair. So I'm Councillor David Watson, Ward Councillor for Borough and Bankside.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Irina van Liesel, Ward Councillor, also for Borough and Bankside.
Good evening, I'm Councillor Helen Dennis. I'm Councillor for Chaucer Ward.
Also, Sri Chopra, councillor in London Vision West Bermondsey Ward. Thank you.
I'm Councillor Emily Hickson, Councillor for London Bridge and West Bermondsey Ward.
Councillor Sam Dalton, Councillor for London Bridge and West Bermondsey Ward.
Councillor Graham Neal, St George's Ward.
Councillor Maria Lynn Poswall, St George's Ward.
Do we have any apologies? If we don't have any, I don't see any urgent business meeting here today. And anybody want to declare any personal interest in dispensation of any item, any agenda, anything, any call for? No? Thank you. So, to agree as the correct record of the open minutes of the meeting held on 26th of March 2024. Are we agreed? Good, thank you. Today, all the council will announce the allocation of funds across Cleaner, Greener, Safer Neighbourhood Fund and Devolved Highway in their respective wards. Please note, the announced funding will not be available until April 2025. Successful applicants will receive correspondence in due course. As the grants are restricted funds, sadly, not everyone will receive funding. We strongly encourage organizations to apply next year. So we don't have any deposition today. So can I ask, we can start announcing Cleaner, Greener, Safer 2025-6 capital funding allocation for these wards. So we can start by ward. Should I ask Borough and Bankside? Yeah, if that's okay.
Thanks, Chair. So, as the Chair said, we would have loved to have given out more money, but we didn't have any money. We've done what we can, and we've done our best to prioritise and a huge amount of really valuable and exciting projects that we can invest in. So the first one is reference 437, the Redmond House Public Realm enhancement that we'll be awarding £10,000 to. The next one, reference 787, Cathedral Square greening, we're awarding £10,000. The next one, reference 580, the project to add greenery to boxes in Nelson Square, we're awarding £1,500. Reference 579, also in Nelson Square, to make the entrance to Nelson Square greener, we're awarding £3,000. Reference 1009 to the Lisborough and Scoville TRA for the project on Coniston Walks Garden Revival, we're awarding £4,600. Reference 413, project on cycle storage for Lant and Bitton House Estates, we're awarding £5,000. The next one, reference 422, the Marlborough Sports Garden site greening, we're awarding £5,300. Next one, reference 804, we're awarding £3,000 to the Courage Gardens project. The next, reference 805, we're awarding £6,500 to greening Gatehouse Square. At the next one, reference 806, we're awarding £10,000 to landscaping and a mural on Park Street Garden playground. And then finally, reference 331, we're awarding £5,000 to the Styles House front garden. Those are the Foreign Bankside Awards for the Cleaner, Greener, Safer Fund. Thanks.
Thank you, David. For the Neighborhood Fund Awards, we had a total of £30,000.
Sorry, should we do?
Oh, sorry, of course.
Sorry. Yeah. So, can I ask Josh Award to do the cleaner greener? Thank you.
Thank you very much. And as ever, we had lots of proposals, not enough money, but we did have a little bit of carryover. And I think, like other councillors, we're also looking at how we use our community infrastructure levy as well at the moment. So there may be some projects that can be rolled into that. The awards are as follows: 852 Protect Jeffrey House Communal Green Space, £7,500. 584 Rewilding the Rockingham, Operation Bluebell Woodland, £9,500. 655 the Falmouth Road Allotment Raised Bed Replacement, £6,000. 168 Revitalising Beckett House Front Yard, £2,000. 295 additional bikeaway storage at Beckett Parking Lot, £5,000. 1315 the Medway House Antisocial Behaviour Project, £7,000. 620 improving the lives of Newell House residents, £16,500. 785 Albert Barnes House entrance gate repair, £600. 118 Albert Barnes Community Garden, £11,000. And 310 Terrace Garden at Bramwell House, £1,500.
Thank you. Now we go to the London Bridge and West Bermondsey. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, everyone. And thank you to everyone who did submit applications for the Cleaner, Greener, Safer Fund and London Bridge and West Bermondsey. All your ideas and input is much appreciated. And like all other awards, unfortunately, there's only a limited amount of money that we are able to spend. I suppose with this year in particular, we thought we've actually allocated money probably to a smaller number of projects overall than we have done in previous years, but we thought that these are projects that require larger overall amounts to be successful. That's part of the strategic thinking. Yeah, and also taking into account where we've given money to before and well. So the projects that we've given funding to are firstly the Dream Garden proposal on Druid Street, £8,300. The Arnold Estate Playground Challenge project, £20,000. The Leroy Street Children's Playground and Park, £31,100. And finally, the return of the tree seats to Tanner Street Park, £4,500.
Thank you. Now we go to St. George's.
Thank you. Yes, good evening, everybody. We actually have had a little bit of money from previous years allocated to the amount of money for this year. So I'm going to read the amount of money for this year and then explain something to Laszlo and Scoville about previous years. So we have allocated the following. Laszlo and Scoville PRA, Gibbons House Gate Saver Revamp, £10,000. Joanne Davis Dance Company, 13,900 for the garden project. Bankside Open Spaces Trust Margaret Sports Garden site greening, £10,000. Weber and Quentin making green spaces secure, 16,850. Now, Cleaner Green Safer for Lothar and Scoville, as I mentioned to you, is going to be from previous years, so money will be allocated, but it's nothing to be with this year. Okay, so you will get all your projects funded. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Next one, we go to Neighborhood Fund, Northwest Neighborhood Funding.
Thank you, Chair. So as I started to say, we have had a total of £30,000 to give away, of which we have allocated to a festival for Bankside, reference 4, £3,300. Camelside, Borough and Bankside, reference 940, £1,700. Patchwork, reference 1,000, £5,000. Borough and Bankside Planning and Licensing, reference 972, £4,986. Pride in Southwark, reference 1121, £5,000. Mint Street Music Festival 2025, reference 1023, £4,081. Tiny Tribe, reference 1089, £3,443. And finally, Connecting Bankside Village, reference 1146, £2,490.
Thank you, Councillor. Now we can go to Joshua.
Thank you very much. Again, just to add, there were a number of applications that included some things that we don't normally fund through Neighbourhood Fund, like core costs, and there were some other applications where we would have liked to have supported, but it didn't quite make the criteria. So happy to have conversations with organisations that haven't been funded or didn't maybe get the full amount that they applied for to explain that decision. The organisations that we are funding are firstly Linkage Southwark Gentle Exercise, reference 467, £3,170. Jorge Goya, the Capoeira Angola Community, reference 973, £4,000. My First 1,000 Days, the Healthy Ageing Inclusion Project, reference 204, £3,250. The Rockingham Community Centre, the Rockingham Community Wellbeing Project, reference 1016, £5,000. The Spring Community Hub Holiday Activities for Working Parents, reference 942, £5,000. The Latin American Disabled Peoples Project, Community Support and Service Access Project, reference 534, £2,500. The PE and School Sports Network Send Saturday Sports Club, reference 934, £2,500. Peckham ABC Boxing in the Community, reference 371, £3,674. And South London Schools Football Project Season, reference 1104, £2,000.
Thank you, Councillor. London Bridge Investment Committee, Neighbourhood Fund.
Thank you, Chair. This is one of my favourite days of being a councillor because I think it sums up what we councillors really want to do, which is give support and resources to community leaders to do good work. And that's what the Neighbourhood Fund definitely represents. We were 10 times oversubscribed for this fund, so we received over 300k worth of projects or 33k worth of funding, which speaks to a great shame, but speaks to the amount of community leaders that we do have and who are doing great work. So echo what Helen just said, and also about trying to connect you to other sources if we haven't been able to award you today. We've made our decisions based on our local manifesto that we ran on in London Bridge, and we try and spread money throughout the ward to different demographics, to different types of projects. So that explains our reasoning. So the first project that we've awarded, 1319, to the Bermondsey Street Festival Community Interest Group, the Bermondsey Street Festival, we've awarded 6,000. Project 411, Bermondsey Street Runners, a new group in the ward, we've awarded £3,000 to the Winter Wellness Programme. Reference 610 to Bermondsey Street London for their campaign for Bermondsey Street cleaning, which goes on. We've awarded £5,000. To the Great Drawing Room, reference 453 for their after school art club, we've awarded £2,498. To the London Bubble Theatre Company, reference 1037 for their Playing Safe initiative, we've awarded £3,050. To the London Charity Streetscape Group, who gave an amazing manifesto for their work in the pitching event, if you were here, reference 1053, we've awarded £2,500. To the Oxford and Bermondsey Club, needs no introduction, reference 880 for a range of their different work. We've awarded £5,000. To Read Easy Southwark, reference 748, who the first time I'd heard about their work this year, reading their application, provides one-to-one coaching for all adults to improve reading. We've awarded £2,862. And finally, to complement the funding from our colleagues and friends in Borough and Bankside, we've awarded Tiny Tribe the remainder of our fund, £2,490. Very sorry to the projects that we couldn't fund. There was a huge amount, and would love to continue to support this year and next year and ongoing.
Thank you, Councillor. St George's.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, St George's Ward, geographically the smallest ward in the borough, but a ward that has a university, a cathedral, and of course a Mark I Spitfire, a ward that Maria and I are very pleased to represent. And again, if I could add my thanks to the staff who processed all the numbers, and of course to all the residents who put forward applications. The grants, Chair, as follows. 626, the Latin Hub, £3,000. 664, Morley College, £5,000. 357, Siobhan Davis, £4,116. 372, St Jude's Senior Citizen Club, £5,000. And 1092, Linda Waterhouse, £4,800. Total of, sorry, Chair, I've given you the wrong figures. I've given the amounts requested, not the proposed award. Do I need to run? I should run through this again. I'm sorry, everybody. Thank you. So, yeah, the amendment then is the 357 Siobhan Davis, £2,200, a total of £20,000 in total.
Thank you, Councillor. Thank you. The next items agenda is Devolved Highway Budget 2025-26 capital funding allocation. So I think to approve allocation and allocation of funds for the Devolved Highway program, I ask officers to come. Should we go by the board? Yeah. Okay. We start by the board again. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Same. I think we can start from Borough.
Thanks, Chair. So we're going to make two awards from the Devolved Highways Fund this year. One reference 613 to the Great Suffolk Street, Weber Street major project that's being developed at the moment as part of the Follow On from the Streets of People scheme. We're going to award £20,000. And then secondly, reference 792, the project on Park Street bike parking. We're going to award £5,000. Total award from us this year. We're going to carry over the fund following year. And basically, we want to wait to see what progress is made on the work that's been going on in the Great Suffolk Street initiative. Thanks.
Thank you very much. So our Devolved Highways budget this year, we are going to allocate it to reference 607, which is speed humps on Mansfield Street and Western Street, and that's £15,000 for traffic calming there. And then the second allocation doesn't have a reference. It came to us via the SIL discussions, but we're going to part fund it through Devolved Highways budget and then part fund it through SIL, we hope. And that's for the Trinity Street repaving project, and that's £24,000 and £24,390. And the other thing I was going to add is that last year we made we set aside £18,000 from DHB for Streets for People priorities. So we are still working through those, but one of the things that we are keen to fund is the Meadow Road repaving from that money.
Thank you, Councillor. London Vision Investment.
Thank you. So we are allocating £20,000 to the Druid Street greening project, which is reference 791. The remaining funding, which totals £18,095. Similar to, as Helen has just said for Chaucer, we are going to allocate to Streets for People projects this year. in terms of the priorities come up in London Bridge. Bermondsey, there was a big consultation with residents recently on that. So we will be working through and allocating according to the Streets for People strategy.
Thank you, Councillor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. For the devolved highways, we only received one application for 45,792, which unfortunately is not applicable because the proposal that they have, the council cannot maintain what they were proposing. So unfortunately, we cannot allocate that amount of money for streets for people. So we have that money carried over for next year, or to be given to street projects.
Thank you, Councillor. And I think this is the last item on the agenda. And I'd like to say thank you to everybody who has applied for all the fundings, and hopefully we'll see you, some people next year as well for the another funding. Thank you very much.